Oh my goodness, it's awful weather. It doesn't know whether to rain or hailstone. It's one of those days, and it's freezing, so we're going to go home now. We popped into town mainly for something that Jen needed to do, and also I treated her to lunch because I'm a nice person. And I. But I've also been to CX. I don't normally do this because I am cutting back. Well, cutting back for a couple of months anyway because I've got other things on my mind. But we went in anyway because sometimes you just have this sixth sense that they might have something I'm looking for.
You said we, but you went in.
Okay, I went in because I had a sixth sense that it might be something I was looking for. But we're on our way home now, so let's go. I'll show you where it is when we get there. Oh, it's good to be back home. Right, guys. I've been down in town, like I said, on the way home. We've been down because I needed to take Jen for a few things, but I went to work as well. While she was looking around and having a chat at her train emporium down there with her little train friends. I was at work doing casework, and it's been a busy time for casework, and it's going to continue to be a busy time. I've got a lot of stuff to do at the moment, but it's getting along. But anyway, I decided that since I was down in town, I'd have a look just in case anything had been dumped in CEX that would add to the collection. Because although I am cutting back, I want to make sure I still get the reasonably cheap titles. So the first one we got is Cartoon Network Racing. Don't know an awful lot about this one. It's not one I've even seen around or mentioned in magazines back in the day, but it's in really good condition. And everything's here, so I'm very, very happy to have had that added to the set. I'm going to give it a try once all my work is done. It seems to be like a lot of work at the moment, so I'll treat myself for the weekend most likely. The other one is, I thought I had this one, and I had to keep checking my my little list on my phone. And when I got home, I checked as well on the shelf just before I started recording this. And thankfully, I don't have it. What I've got is Gadget Races here, which appears to be a sequel or a remake or something of Penny Races, which is why I recognised it. But everything's here. It's in reasonable condition, but the manual in this, that is huge. Massive manual. It's like a book. So that's very interesting because you don't often see stuff like that, especially for cheap budget racing games. Because what do you put in a manual for a cheap racing game? But there you are. Talking of cheap games, I decided I'd plump for Link's crossbow training since we didn't have it, and I want to see if it's as bad as people say. Everything's here. It's clear I've got the bump as well behind the manual, so everything is here in reasonable condition. Actually, pretty good, almost unused condition because it's Link's crossbow training. But this is the one that got me very interested. Now, I've been looking for this since I got the first one. When I got the Wii, this game I saw and thought, I've got to try that. It's like Jenga, and it's Boom Blocks. Now I've finally got the sequel. This is weirdly hard to get. I don't know why. It's very cheap, $2.50. Not much for a game, but it's hard to get. It's hard to find. But everything's here. The manual's in reasonable condition. A little bit of a crease there, but I can live with that. So very, very happy. And then, finally, last but not least, there was one game that I've been looking for since DJ Slope on Slope's Game Room, link in the description bar. He mentioned it on one of his complete history videos, and that is Splatterhouse. Now, the reason I wanted this isn't just because it's a 360 game based on an old Sega or Namco franchise, actually Namco, but also because it has the 3 Mega Drive games, Splatterhouse 1, 2, and 3, in it as unlockables. So I'm always happy with that because I like playing the old games. Everything's here, so I'm very, very happy with that. And when I eventually get my work finished, I will have a look at these games. But for now, I've got a load of editing to do. I've got loads of stuff for Jen to do and a few things for me because CP Scene is coming today. So I better get on with that. Guys, that's it for today. I haven't got CP Scene done. I haven't got any of my videos done. I spent the entire evening working on a video for Jen, and I've turned it into a comic because it's a good enough image to be a comic on its own right, so I've done that. And I've also managed to script next time's comic, the next day's, which follows on from it and links into the one before it, so I've made a kind of story between them all. but I am exhausted. I've got to go to bed. I spent ages on this picture. It's there for like 2.5 seconds, maybe 3 seconds in a video for Jen. But it's hilarious in terms of how we've used it. Well, I think it is anyway. So I don't begrudge that time, but it's one of those things. Sometimes unplanned things cause huge amounts of time to be used up. So I'm glad I did it. It's funny. I've got a bit more use out of it as well by putting it in a comic, so that's there and that's good. I'm very happy with the time I've spent because I would have had to make a comic anyway, so it's like I haven't lost any time, but I'm exhausted. I'm probably not making any sense, so I'm going to bed. I'll see you tomorrow. Today's video is brought to you by my graphic novels, The Collected Life of Naughty Mouse, Volume 1, All Over the House, Volume 1, and All Over the House, Volume 2. Thank you.